Hello everyone, and it is Aya with you again with useful video blogs about student life in Glasgow. And today I want to talk to you about an extremely important component of a happy, carefree, almost carefree student life abroad, housing, or in other words, accommodation, and how to look for it. Let's go. I'll tell you my experience in finding accommodation. To be honest, finding accommodation or looking for the accommodation is not the best memory for me since I had so many challenges. Let's start with the fact that I had entered the academic year 2021 and 2022 very late because I was waiting for confirmation of funding for my studies in Glasgow until, let's say, the first week of September, and I have arrived eventually at the end of September. And I had neither the time nor the opportunity to look for the best options, and everything was booked. And another factor that complicated the process of finding accommodation for me personally was the mandatory stay in quarantine for 10 days and the rule that didn't allow me to go out, and even I couldn't go out for grocery shopping or, let's say, for viewings. And the whole situation turned to be even worse because there was in Glasgow in last November, the UN conference, World Conference on Climate Change was held in Glasgow. Yeah. Yes, this is how I'm lucky. But I found the accommodation for 10 days of quarantine in a WhatsApp chat where all the Kazakhstani guys are gathered. There are some students and the people who work here. They helped me to find a room for 10 days, and I was naively hoping that I will find an apartment in these 10 days. So it was quite challenging. Where was I? Yeah. And in these 10 days, I just studied the topic of finding an accommodation, all the nuances that you have to take into consideration, and I feel like I almost became an estate agent. And I just, in this video, I just want to show you all the possible options to look for the accommodation, to share the information like what is the best suitable accommodation for students considering different factors, and also I will show you the best resources, let's say websites where you can look for the accommodation. On today's agenda we have three main topics, or let's say questions, that we will cover in this video. The first one is understanding your desire, your needs and your capabilities. The second one, the sites, resources where you can find accommodation. And the third one, nuances that should be taken into account when you're choosing a house. For advising you on any accommodation, it is important for me, and honestly, let's say mostly for you, to understand your desires, your needs, your opportunities, your, let's say, capabilities. What are your plans? What do you expect from your student life? Do you want to live in a silence alone? Or do you want to share a flat with your friends, let's say? Or let's say, do you want your roommates to be English speaking, or just the guys that are from the same country you are? Or are you okay to pay for the flat yourself, or it's important for you to save money? Or is it important to live for you near the university or a little further away from the university where it is much cheaper, quieter and cleaner, let's say? Or are you ready to clean up after yourself, or do you need a cleaning service? You see that there are a lot of requests and desires, and it's really, how to say, individually. You have to decide it yourself in advance. It will help you to avoid some misunderstandings and disappointment from your student life, let's say. And in short, if you are not sure what option would suit you best, I would offer you this kind of formula. First one, private room, English-speaking roommates, different cultures, average price, not the average, let's say above average price. I would offer you student accommodation. It doesn't matter, you may choose this university student accommodation or the private ones. I will tell you what the difference between them. The second option, private room plus English-speaking roommates plus different cultures plus average prices plus ability to cohabit and plus tolerance. If you are okay with it, you can choose spare room. I will explain what is it and I will show you the website and how it works, okay? Then let's look at the third formula. Personal room plus your friends plus similar culture, let's say food, habits, and so on and so forth, and plus more responsibility plus cheaper price, it is renting an apartment yourself. That's it. It needs to be considered individually, and you have to understand and know what is best for you, because no one can tell you that. I'll move on to the second question, let's say topic on our today's agenda. Where and when to look for accommodation or housing. I want to answer to the question when, firstly, because it's important. And I would later show you the websites, so just not to forget about that. You have to, if you are considering student accommodation, be aware that they are fully booked. For example, now for the September, it is June now, so for the September period, it's fully booked. You will have to join the waiting list, but it's real. If someone moves out, or if there is a cancelled room, they will call you and you will sign the contract and you will get your room. So this is a real scheme. Don't think that they are just cheering you up and giving you just a false hope. No, join the waiting list. It's possible to find a room this way. If you are looking for a flat or the university student accommodation, let's say my recommendation is to book it in advance, like 3 months in advance, or at least 1 or 2 months in advance. But if you didn't do that, keep in touch with university accommodation, write them. If someone cancels their room, they will call you and give you this room. But you will have to pay immediately when they offer you. I think they will give you 24 hours. So just keep in touch with university, student accommodation, or with the, how they are called? Landlords, yeah. So since we are all students, we will start with the student accommodation. And there are two types of student dormitories here in Glasgow: the university student accommodation, or let's call them university student houses, and private ones. The university student houses itself is also divided into different halls depending on the types of rooms, like standard, premium, luxury room, and of course, accordingly, the price will change. And well, finding the way of looking for such housing is the easiest among all the options. I'll show you now. So in order to find the university student accommodation, we go to the university website. Then you'll have to go down in order to find the section services. Yeah, here it is. And choose the accommodation services. So here you'll find all the necessary information. If you are an undergraduate, if you will need an undergraduate accommodation, you have to choose undergraduate. Then you'll see that there is a separate section for the postgraduate accommodation, all the useful links, living support. So you see admissions policies, accommodation guarantee. You can look at the types of the university dormitory. Here, all the names, videos. For example, let's look at the Macleay residences. So there is a price, all the information, contact information. So now you can look at the way how to apply for them. For example, if you have conditional offer, then go to this section. If you have unconditional, there is another section for you. Also, there is a step-by-step guide for you. Please read all the information. You will need it. And if you need to know the fees and prices for all the residences, here it is. The rules for payments. Yes, that's it. What is important here that you have to take into account is the mandatory familiarization with yourself with all the policy and conditions. Since I have heard from my friends who live in such university student houses, they say that it is quite difficult to terminate the contract once you have signed it. If you want to leave, let's say if you want to leave like in a 6 months period, you decide to leave the university dorm and rent a flat, you will have to find someone who will take your contract and who will settle in instead of you. Therefore, keep in mind that it's extremely important to familiarize yourself with all the rules written in your contract and policy documents, condition documents. Okay, now about the advantages of living in a university student houses. Advantage number 1, less responsibility compared to the renting the flat. As an example, I can say, for example, paying for the utilities or Wi-Fi connection. I have rented an apartment here in Glasgow, and I know that when you first move into the flat, you will have to choose the providers of electricity for the heating separately and for the internet connection, Wi-Fi. And I will say you that it's not the easiest task. You know the Glaswegian accent? You will experience it here. And in the student houses, you don't have to worry about that. And I think this is a huge advantage for the student who knows nothing about the everyday peculiarities in a new foreign country. Advantage number 2, opportunity to make friends from different parts of the world. And advantage number 3 is if you take into account the prices of utilities, then sometimes living in a student house can be more profitable compared with other options. Let's move on to the second type of student dorms in Glasgow, which is private student accommodation. In short, it turns out to be the most expensive one, but the conditions, all the amenities that they offer are the best among all. And because in the one complex, in this building, you will have access to the rooms for individual group study, you will have access to your personal gym, or you will have access to the cinema in your building. Can you imagine that? And also there's always a supermarket nearby, and I think the location is always excellent. But I noticed one thing. I think that students from China mostly live in such student houses. And if you are from China and you are planning to study in UK to practice your English, to improve your English speech, then it's not the best option to choose for you, because you will be around the guys who are from the same country as you are, and you will not have the chance to practice your English. But if you are from another country and you don't speak Chinese, so I think it's okay to live in such houses. Let's look at the prices. I will show you the prices and some options in Glasgow. Okay, in order to find the private student accommodations in Glasgow, we just search in Google. So you see that there are different options. And let's check amberstudent.com. I think they have different options. Yes, you see West Village and the prices. You see on the left side that you can choose some filters like bathroom, shared or private, room type, and the prices. Let's see the West Village. Price is per week. This is how the rooms look like. You see that they have cinema and everything that you will need, let's say. And you see that there are in some rooms there is a kitchen. I think it's a huge advantage. You will not have to spend money on going out and eating out. If you like this kind of rooms, you should leave your details and send inquiry. You can see the different options, and you see that some of them are already sold out. We are lucky that we have some options today, because last time, I think in a 2-week time ago, I looked for some private accommodations and they were all sold out. Let's look at other options. I know that there is a Unite Students. Yeah, this is Unite Students. Let's look at the prices. Yeah, they show only 2. You see that unsuited room only is available, and also it's available only for 1 semester. And they show us 2 results: Blackfriars and Kyle Park House. The price is good. I think 135 per week. It means you will spend like 500 for months. Sorry for the Russian writings. That's it. You can see the different options in Google. Just go and search for them. That's it. And please write to the emails and use the contact details and find out all the available options. I think everything is clear with the dormitories, but if you have any questions left, just let me know. Write them in the comments and I will definitely answer to them, okay? Let's move on to the search for rented apartments. First, let me tell you the average prices for the flats here in Glasgow today. Let's say for one bedroom apartment, the average price is 500 to 800 pounds per month. And if you rent two bedroom apartment, let's say that it is from 650 to 1000 pounds per month. But pay attention that I'm talking about the average prices. It can be more expensive if they have new fresh repairs and furniture. If it is furnished, so maybe it can be expensive. But in general, be guided by these prices. By the way, I must say that here in Glasgow, for example, in comparison with Kazakhstan, I was surprised that in Glasgow, one bedroom apartment is considered to have one bedroom and separately hall and also separately kitchen. In Kazakhstan, we call such kind of flats like two bedroom apartment because they have also hall. But here, no. Sometimes you will be in the viewing of a two bedroom apartment and you will see 3 rooms, not 2. Don't be surprised. When looking for an apartment, it's advisable to pay attention to the type of heating because in Glasgow there is 2 types of heating, gas and electric. The second one is more expensive since the electricity is significantly expensive here. And I would recommend you to choose the flat with the gas heating so as not to overpay for your bills twice or sometimes 3 times more as I did in my flat. The most annoying thing here, even if you rent a flat with the electrical heating, no matter how much you drown your house in the winter time when it's cold, it will not be warm. Even if you pay like 300-400 pounds per month only for the heating. I don't know why, but it didn't work with my flat. And my friends who had a flat with gas heating, they noticed it once they entered my flat. They say like, why your flat is so cold? And I was like, I couldn't explain it because I was drowning my flat and they didn't understand that. But in case that you have already rented a flat with electrical heating, I would recommend you to buy a small heater. I bought it in Amazon, like it costs like 20 pounds, I think, and I used it 3 times a day and it saved me. Really, I'm not kidding, I'm not joking, it's true. I used it only 3 times a day. But the winter is not so cold here. I would say that the coldest temperature was -5. But I think since I was living near the coast, near the river bank, it was much colder. You also need to take into account the details in the lease agreement. When signing a contract, pay attention to the termination rules. Sometimes the contract specifies a certain date of termination and the possible options for earlier termination of the contract. For example, maybe it will be said that you can terminate your agreement if you warn your landlord 28 days in advance, or maybe 2 months in advance. So you will save your deposit that you pay before you move into that flat. So study your all rights and your duties as well. One more point, if your apartment is damp and humid, then most likely you will see such spots on the wall. Then this tool from any supermarket will help you. Immediately wipe them and ventilate your room more often. Then I didn't know about the existence of such tools, but now I realize that I understand that there is a reason why this kind of tools are sold in every supermarket here. Now let's see where you can look for the reliable housing adverts and not let yourself be deceived by scammers. The first site is Zoopla. The second website is Rightmove, and the third one is OpenRent. These three sites are reliable, official ones for housing search. And let me show you how it works. Okay, let's start with Zoopla Glasgow, sir. And so you see here we are looking for here we are entering the details for searching the homes for sale, but we need to rent. So let's go for the renting and write the Glasgow. Choose the bedrooms, how many bedrooms you need, maximum price. Choose the flats and search. So you see that it gives us 75 results. Let's look at the first one. You can see the photos, the price, and the deposit required, and when it is available, location on the map. We see that it is furnished flat and all the information here. If you like it, you just can use the details of agent and leave your information, and they will contact you. They will give you the details and the date for viewing. So there are other options in different locations. Also, you can use the map search, map view, just to get the sense where these flats are located. Let's use the parking area, choose the parking area, and for example here. So the next one is Rightmove. We have to enter the town and choose to rent, set the details, filters like price range and number of bedrooms, and find properties. You see that the website gives us 210 results, and often you will see the same adverts on the same websites. For example, the Rightmove, OpenRent, and Zoopla can give you the same adverts, and it's okay. And you see that there is a map view also. Let's choose the Cavan Bridge or Partick region because it's the closest area to the university. Let's see this one. All the information, amount of deposit, let available date, long term. So you see that students negotiated that they can consider students. It's good. Let's request details. Just leave your details and tick the box to view a property. And the last official website is OpenRent Glasgow. But I don't know, I think that Zoopla and Rightmove is more active than the OpenRent website, but just keep an eye on it also, because I found my flat on this website. But then I realized that the advert of my flat was on the Zoopla and Rightmove as well. It's similar to Zoopla and Rightmove, nothing new here. You can also find an accommodation in the websites like Airbnb or Facebook groups of Glasgow or on the Gumtree website. But in my experience, these three websites turned out to be not safe, and that since there are many scammers who have come up with an obvious scheme of deception, and the person in desperation to find an apartment can easily fall for these tricks. For example, you write to the specified email address on the advert, then they respond to you or forward you to another email convincing you that this is a landlord and he's not in Glasgow and he's worried, he wants to find a reliable tenant. Please talk to him and maybe he will let you to move into his apartment. And when you write to the landlord, he writes you all the, I don't know, like poem about his life, that he's not in Glasgow, but he loves so much his flat, and you know that these flats and adverts are very cozy, beautiful, and you hope, you believe until the last second that this is a real, and maybe you are so lucky that you have this advert, you found this advert, and this person is talking to you. But no, please be careful, because they start writing something like, I see that you are a reliable person, that I can trust you. Can you please send your personal details and the student status, please, so that I know that you are a student? And can you please send your bank statements? And you believe, because it's like It's logical that they are asking all the necessary documentation, but in the end they ask you to make a payment in advance so that the landlord will definitely settle you and will not look for anyone else. But don't send money to any incomprehensible persons. Do not believe such scammers. And it's logical that a person who is not in Glasgow will contact a real estate agent so that they will find a resident for him or her. So it's all a hoax. Not all. I will not say that all ads on these websites like Airbnb or Facebook groups or Gumtree are a deception. I just want you to believe only official websites and only to the official real estate agencies. Because, how to say, I would say that you will probably find a room for a short period of time in the Airbnb or Facebook groups of Glasgow or Gumtree. The main thing here is to make sure that that the landlord had the tenants or other residents before you, and these residents left the reviews. I think it was a Gumtree website that seemed doubtful to me when I was searching for the housing, and I would not recommend you to find accommodation here. You can look for the furniture here or household appliances, but not the accommodation itself. Please be careful. Do not send your money to anyone before you sign the contract. Sign the contract, then send the money. And one more thing, when looking at an apartment, if you were called to the viewing of the apartment, do not think that you almost got this apartment. Please apply for different viewings at the same time, because the viewing is the process when the agency calls all the people who are interested in this flat at the same time to show the flat, and they will not tell you right at that moment that they choose someone like as a future tenant. They will inquire the packaging of documents, like the standard packaging, like the student certificate and the financial statement, like bank statement, maybe the guarantee letter of your finances, how you are going to pay for the rent, and etc. And it's not fact that they will choose you immediately. So be patient, be persistent. If you like this apartment, please be ready to provide all the necessary information. And if you rent an apartment with friends, this is the perfect option, because you will share the amount of rent and share the utility bills. You will do the grocery shopping together, and you will not experience the loneliness and some kind of depressions connected with study, for example. And you can invite your friends for sleepovers and organize a party. So I think this is a very good option to consider. And in my experience, when I was asked to provide the financial statement, I didn't have the local bank card, and accordingly I didn't have the bank statement, but I have provided the guarantee letter from my sponsor that I'm able to cover all the expenses that are required for the renting flat. And also, it's logical that landlord wants to know more about you, and I considered that if I will provide some personal information, like a little bit of my biography, like what I like, and what are my hobbies, where I'm from, why I'm here, that it will be helpful. And it worked. I mean, it helped me to be chosen as a new tenant. And also I have attached some of my photos and videos from Kazakhstan. I recommend you to do the same, because they are also people. Be just be open-minded and be friendly. Show that you are a good person. And if you are alone in a huge apartment, and if you need a person who will live with you, and you want to rent your flat, your one room of your flat, or otherwise, if you are looking for a room in someone's flat, you can use the website Spare Room. I will show you how it works and what this website looks like. So this is a Spare Room. spareroom.co.uk. So you just type in your area or postcode. This is Glasgow, and you see that below there is an information room or flatmates. What are you looking for? Let's look for the rooms. You see that there are so many filters. You can find the most suitable option for you. Do you want to pay weekly or monthly, or length of stay? How long are you going to stay? Room amenities, share with whom? And also you can look for the search for the rooms wanted, who are looking for the room, and find your flatmate. If you didn't find it here, you can add yourself to the Facebook group of Glasgow, or even write to the University Service Center. I think it is called SRC. They have the flat share information. They have the contact details of students who are looking for flat, who are looking for room, and you can use this information. If this video was useful, please leave your like and comment. And it's not difficult for you, but it's motivation for me to move on and create such content. Thank you for watching. It was nice to see you with me today. It was Aya with you. So, bye for now.